Hello, I know, but just give me the blessing of your Monday grain of salt. That's not what I was going to say. Terry Hardin here, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. Mondays are always a little crazy for me, so I always say 9:30, give or take. That's what I probably should say in the comments, right? 9:30, give or take, because I just never know what my day is like. And all of a sudden, before I got on to my tribe page today, something I realized that I had not done something that I should have done, and I had to race to do it before I broadcast because I got a few new members. Thank you. And welcome to Terry's Tribe. And while I'm at it, I will let you know how you can go. This is where you go, patreon.com/Terry Hardin. To learn about Terry's Tribe, to be a part of Terry's Tribe, $5 a month, $60 a year. And your voice is needed. Okay. We need all walks of life of people who are willing to be a part of a group that talks to each other, that helps each other, all that stuff. I do giveaways. This Zoom call, since I have a couple of new members, I want to make sure that I let the new members know what they're in store for. So we'll talk about that on Zoom, and then I'll talk about that again on Friday. I probably should do that again because I've got a few new ones, and welcome if you've joined the tribe. I am touched, honored, and excited that you did. I am known as Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. I'm also a Jim Henson Muppeteer, an international speaker, and trademarked artist. I go all over, not so much during the pandemic, speaking to anyone and everyone who will listen about various things, how to be Imagineer, mindset, the positive attitude, doing good for others, etc., whatever. On Fridays, every Friday, unless it's a holiday or something does come up with me, but I'd say I'm here 90% of the time. But on Fridays, it's Ask Me Anything, which means you can talk to me about some of the people that I've worked with, Michael Jackson, Elizabeth Taylor, encounters with people. I right now, the big questions on my Fridays Ask Me Anything seem to be balanced between Ghostbusters, because Ghostbusters Afterlife has popped out, and Dune, which Dune did a new movie based on the books. And in 1984, I worked on that movie as well, stunt doubling for Sean Young and building the still suits. So if you have questions on Fridays, just pop over there, join us at 9:30, give or take. I'm usually better at arriving on my Fridays than I am my Mondays. Mondays has got a power. Have you ever noticed that? Monday has the ability to throw some sort of a strange and odd monkey wrench in your situation. And so I never know what's going to happen, and never know what the situation is. So in the month of December, and one of the things that happened in as December comes, one of the things you noticed in there was Candlelight. And I wanted to ask you if you got to go and who was your sighting. So a couple of you, thank you for tagging me so that I could live vicariously through you during the Candlelight processional. I really am grateful to you for that. As you know, I am now a come here, get away Imagineer, which means more of an independent contractor Imagineer. They take me out of the box when they need help, and they put me back in when they're done. So that means that in order to go to Disneyland, there is no free ride. I have to pay just like you guys do. And so I do not do it at big events like Candlelight, because it's so important to all of you who go to Candlelight. It's a big deal for you all. And I've been blessed with going to see it several times in the past years. And so because it is so, the attendance is so coveted and limited, I just don't go. But I ask you guys who do go to share with me on social media, tag me, and let me see what your experiences are so I can live vicariously through you. That's what we do. Yep. So during this weekend, while you were listening to Candlelight, many of you suggested that I watch a movie that I didn't think was going to be that good called Free Guy. And oh my goodness, I fell in love with this movie. I just fell in love with this movie. Now, I heard that some people didn't like it because it had a bit of a violent nature, but it was video game violence. And a lot of you people who play video games, full disclosure, I don't play them. I just don't. Not because I'm all, but I get motion sickness. So they make me motion sick. Yeah, isn't that something? Something in the brain just doesn't like the movement. So when my son used to play these video games, and he used to play one called Doom, Doom, and you walk through the halls of things and fight. I had to close my eyes, and then he would tell me when I could open and watch his battles. And then he'd go, okay, I'm going through the halls, and I'd close my eyes again so I wouldn't get motion sick. So this movie, Free Guy, just really was fascinating to me. It felt a little bit like Tron. It felt a little bit like Tron was the big one for me. I just thought it was really, really fun. I thought it was a fun, interesting, joyful movie. And if you like Ryan Reynolds, the lead guy, that's right, correct? Which I do. I'm one of the people that loves. I don't love every movie that he's in, but I sure do like a lot of them. And he does kind of play that same sparkly guy character, but I like him as the sparkly guy character. It's kind of like watching Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson doesn't have a huge range when it comes to acting. Sorry, Dwayne, but he's fun to watch. And so I like to see Dwayne Johnson in films. And that's the way I feel about this perky, smiley. When he smiles, he has that puppy dog look that he does really well, Ryan does, and that kind of crooked smile that he has, and it's just adorable. It makes you kind of go, "Aw," like seeing a new puppy. Am I right? Post in the comments if you think I'm right, okay? But I saw that. That's what I did this weekend, as I waited to hear about your candlelight experiences and who you saw. So one of my dear friends, Doug Marsh, tagged me on his candlelight experience and showed me that Tony Baxter was there. And for those of you who know me, Tony Baxter and Marty Sklar were two of my bosses while I was in-house at Imagineering, and then were my very, 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 very close friends all throughout my life and continue to be that. So whenever I see it, it's like, oh, I miss them. Oh, I should give them a call, kind of thing like that. So I love seeing that. I love seeing the pictures that you did. Leslie Smith, who, if you hear Friday, she mentioned that her day was going to be Saturday, both shows. So if you were there Saturday watching, you probably got to see her. She even told us the location where she would be in case you were going to be there. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it got you into that Christmas spirit. Stephanie Fix told me today on the Patreon page, she's one of my tribe members, that a lot of you got to sit in the seats because there was extra seats. So you guys got to sit and enjoy the show. How wonderful for you, and congratulations. That's super, super cool. And then Sterling did a good job, I understand. So if you have anything to say about Candlelight you want to share, please do. And then if you want to talk about Free Guy, you are the guys, you and my tribe were like, you got to see this movie. And I was really surprised because the previews didn't do it for me. And one of the things I want to point out about that is nowadays, when you see previews of a movie, you have to give them a grain of salt. And the reason you do is because there are people out there who try to grab the movie and post it on YouTube, or which is not legal, but they still do it, don't they? And to get the jump on it actually being released. And then some will give you terrible, terrible spoilers. So what happens is, if you are someone who's doing the trailers for these films, they are very, very, they keep a lot of the stuff, and you get very little to work with in order to tell the story of the film. You may not even know, if you're building a trailer, the actual arc of the film. Now, back in the day when I was younger, they got this information. They might even get an early screening of the film, but of course there was no internet to post it on. So it was a lot easier to control the shh factor, but now, of course, it's more and more difficult. So as a result, if you see a preview that you don't like, and Matrix is one of those that I'm looking at now and going, huh? I might, my husband, if he's interested in seeing it, we'll check it out together, and then we'll see, because it's not really good, is it, to badmouth a movie if you haven't seen it? It's kind of not a good idea, right? It's like you're badmouthing it and you haven't seen it. It's kind of like not cool, right? Right. I remember when I saw Star Wars in 1977, that a couple people gave it bad reviews. And then you found out the reason they gave it a bad review was they stayed for the crawl, saw the Kessel Run, and then they left. And then they reviewed the movie. I mean, how can you review? And then they looked ridiculous because we knew they hadn't seen the film, because we could tell, those of us who watched it and loved it, and there's many of us, isn't there, that so I just think if you're going to review a film, you need to see it. And all of you came to me and said, many of you on this channel said, hey, you got to check this out. It's really fun. And I have to agree. It's really, really a fun movie. It just made me smile and gave me a giggle. And I thought it was super cute. And I thought it must have been fun to do the movie. As an actor, I'm always saying, wow, that must have been fun to do the movie. And I think I mentioned this on Friday, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Can you imagine being one of those child stars and getting to do what they got to do in the film? How fun is that? Even if the movie had turned out to be a dog, which it didn't, it's a great love letter to the original. And I know, because I did Ghostbusters and it felt very personal to me. And I want to thank Jason and Ivan for creating such a lovely film. But wow, I watched and I kept thinking, oh, I would have loved to be those kids and doing that fun stuff that they got to do in the movie. So I see it from a couple of angles all the time. There are films that I simply don't get often, and I will tell you, just didn't float for me. And I will be honest about that. And you are welcome to have a different opinion and state your opinion. Just don't get personal with each other, okay? If you start to get into a debate, the key to a good debate is to debate the issue, not get personal with the person who's debating you, okay? Everybody has a right to their opinion. And if they love it, I'd love to hear why they love it. I looked at the Free Guy preview and I was kind of me, but y'all said, you gotta watch it. And so I really enjoyed it. So feel free to talk to me about Candlelight. Feel free to talk to me about anything that's on your mind today. And if you have a question, we'll answer them on Friday, unless I can do it quickly here. But let's go and see what's happening, and you guys can talk to me about what you're thinking, right? Right. And everything. Made it to this broadcast, Stephen. Hello. So Stephen is with my tribe, Terry's Tribe, on Patreon. And I mentioned that everyone has a superpower that comes to my Patreon page. It's not just about me. The Terry's Tribe is made up of people with extra special abilities, and you have that ability. We find it. So if you are wanting to join, please do, and we'll ferret that special ability. If you think you don't have one, you do. And we just love it. And it's all walks of life, various people. Stephen seems to have his hand on the pulse of just about every Disneyland and every puppet thing that's available. At least that's what I think about Stephen Golden. He just seems to have it. He's always sending me stuff that is so interesting, and I don't even know where he finds it. But I'm so grateful that he does, and then he shares it with the tribe as well. So your voice is definitely necessary, so please join it if you want to. Morning, Janny. So Janny, on the tribe page today, I was talking about painting and my evolution of painting this year that has happened, because I don't necessarily ask for anything for Christmas, except for that I want to see you guys. If you're coming in for Christmas, let me know. And maybe we can meet at downtown Disney or someplace closer to where I live. And that's really kind of a nice present. But my husband always asks me, what do you want? What do you want? And last year, he got me some beautiful paints that I had been wanting, acrylic paints. And I had been watching people like Janny. If you don't know Janny's work, please go to her Facebook page and her Instagram page, and you can see some very fabulous paintings. One of the things that I was intrigued about Janny's work is that she uses bright colors. And I tended to be, in my sculpture and everything, I tend to be more realistic, more. I did portraits to put myself through college. I would do portrait sketches, not paintings, but I would illustrate with my pencil portraits for people. I would do family sittings and sketch them out, and to put myself through college. And so I'm known as being extremely, extremely crazy realistic, and can duplicate just about anybody. But the thing is that is a tight, if you're an artist out there, your muscles are kind of tight because you want to make it look like the person. And if it doesn't look like the person, you're like, toss. If you're an artist, you've been there. Sculpturally, I want it to look like what it's supposed to look like. So when I do Disney sculpts, it's got to look like the character. Here on the West Coast, they are very, very adamant about the pieces that are sculpted being on model. On model meaning it looks like the character. You can't take too many liberties with the characters to make the people on the West Coast happy. East Coast, a lot more lenient. The Walt Disney Worlders and the Magic Kingdom down there in Florida, a lot looser. So those characters that are like the image of Mickey and it's splashed with a million colors and you're like, what the heck is this? They're not really easily found on the West Coast because the West Coast people go, but they do have some that they like that are a little more like those POPs. Is that what you call them? A lot of the West Coasters like those, and I'm not quite sure why, because they're not really on model, but there's something about that style that they like. So if you're one of those people that likes it on the West Coast and you can explain to me, what it is about them that's so compelling, they are kind of interesting, then let me know. And there's another artist who's really, really, really good named Miss Mindy. I saw her work, and everybody is very excited about her work too. So it's certain artists they're really excited about. Noah. Now Noah is more on model. And guys, this weekend he's going to be down at the Downtown Disney signing his art and offering it for sale. So he just wrote to me and let me know. And so Google Noah, art by Noah or Noah's Art. I'm not Noah's Art. I think Noah's Art would be better because it kind of sounds like Noah's Ark, but I don't know if that's it. So just Google Noah, and it tells you about, it's like that weekend, next weekend, the 11th and 12th or something like that. I think it's 11th and 12th that weekend, whatever that Saturday and Sunday is. He is going to be there showing his art. So if you're going to be in Downtown Disney and you want to go say hello to him or whatever, check out his art, do so, because he tends to be on model, and then he incorporates the characters that look like they're supposed to in his own mind of art. And it's very, very compelling and beautiful. So think about it. Anyway, Janny triggered all of that because of her beautiful work, and go check her out and her work and you'll see. But she's one of those superpower people I told you about that's in Terry's tribe. So, her superpower is she's the Energizer Bunny. She just turned into the Energizer Bunny. So, and she does some great stuff. Hello, Leo. Good morning again. Good morning, Michael. My favorite film of the summer. My favorite film of the summer original. Oh, Free Guy is what I think you're talking about, Leo. Yeah. I just couldn't get over how fun that movie was. I felt no time. It felt, sometimes you're in a movie and you kind of feel the weight of how long it's taking. Kind of like the beginning half of Ghostbusters Afterlife. That particular beginning is a little slow, so you sort of feel the minutes ticking by. But this one, you don't feel that. You just are so... And his sidekick. There are two people that work in a bank. I don't think I'm spoiling it if I tell you. The sidekick, Leo, is absolutely darling. And what a great character. We don't get to see him as much, but every minute he's on the screen, we just eat him up. We think he is just, first of all, a killer smile. And then his philosophy. I mean, I know why that character was taken by the actor who took it, because it's such a great character. Like I said, it is not a major character, but it is an important character. And those are the characters I like, those sidekick characters with magical. And that guy is magical. And Leo, I know you know what his name is, but he was just so cool. Everything about him just, oh, you just want to, yeah, he's such a good character. So I absolutely fell in love with him as well, and I'd like to see more movies with him in it, because that actor really brought that role, even though it's not a huge role compared to the others that surround Ryan. So if that's the film you're talking about, oh, love it, love it. I saw Free Guy in 3D at the Burbank 8, and did you like it, Stephen? Okay, 3D must have been really interesting and would have, of course, made me motion sick. So I didn't see it that way. I actually saw it on Amazon has a special, guys. If you're Amazon Prime, it has a special, and you can rent this movie for like $1.50 or $1.89. You can rent it. So grab it, because it's a little Christmas present. If you are if you're an Amazon Prime member, go grab it and you can watch it. But love it. Just loved it. Streamed it, $1.89 or something like that. Very low price. You can actually buy it for like $8.49 if you're okay streaming it and you don't need a hard copy. I'm a little mixed with that. I'm thinking maybe I should get the stream one because it's on sale, and then wait for the price to drop in the hard copy, and then I can buy it hard copy on when it's on sale. But loved it. Hi, Marianne. Dayton Disneyana party is Saturday. How fun! Please say hi to Anita, Marianne, and remind her she promised me to send me the button I did of young Walt Disney in big clothes. She said she had some earmarked for me and my group here. So if you wouldn't mind at the party just putting a bug in her ear and saying, Anita, you got to send those buttons. Been trying to call her, but she's a very busy lady, often out there running her 5Ks and her 10Ks and keeping it real out there, which I love. I love to hear. I love to watch what she's doing. She's a great gal. But congratulations. Wish I was there. Wish I could be there with you guys. I miss you all. Good morning, Ava. Hello. How do you say that? Terria? Because you have my name with an A on it. I would think Maria, Terria. Beautiful first name, Terria Lee. Good morning. Steven says last weekend there was an advanced screening of the new Spider-Man, but they cut it off after only 38 minutes because it was unfinished. I've never heard of that. What did you think about that first 38 minutes? Did you think, because I saw the preview of this new Spider-Man and I was like one big question mark. What the hell? All I could think of, what the heck? But all I could think of is there's too many colors being thrown at me at once. And this is the problem with computer generated stuff, is that they can do anything now. So they throw the kitchen sink at you. And a lot of times you're like, this was my opinion with the preview, Stephen. What did you think when you saw that first 38 minutes? Yes, I know people were upset they didn't get to see the rest of the film, but how were you affected by that first part of the film? And don't use any spoilers. Don't use any spoilers at all. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you're the Spider-Man preview. I went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in the theater. And while I was there seeing this film, they did all these previews, and a lot of them were Marvel previews of the upcoming Marvel stuff, which my husband warned there's a lot of Marvel coming out in 2022, like a huge loaf of Marvel bread of movies. And I was completely blown away. I could not, it was too much. It was too much sensory overload. There was just too much CG. There was too much things flashing around. There was too much things flying around. And I was like, I don't understand. But then, full disclosure, I don't understand because I'm not a Marvelite. Okay. I'm one of these people who likes the origin stories because it's two characters, usually our hero and then our adversary. Stop. Okay. That's what I like. Yeah, I've found that, like, for example, Iron Man, the original Iron Man was so amazing to me. I just loved it. And Batman Begins, also loved it. Batman Begins because there was a foot in reality. And because that Batman in Batman Begins uses his brain more than his brawn. And I thought that was, for the first time in my life, I really, really liked Batman. Not a fan before, because I just wondered why someone who is the wealthy Bruce Wayne of Bruce Wayne Manor would be all about his fists and less about his brain. So in Batman Begins, when he uses his brain and his intelligence, I was in love. I thought, oh, this is great. I hope they carry that thread. And then they really sort of didn't, which is too bad. But I just, so Steven says, I only heard about it. I didn't actually see it. Okay. So, but again, he knows all. You see how he has that crystal ball that he doesn't tell me about? Steven, he has all this ability. It would be interesting to hear what the people thought of it. Were they having that kitchen sink effect? And we'll talk more about Spider-Man after it releases in all of these movies. There was another one where, and forgive me that I don't know the name of it, but Angelina Jolie was one of the characters, and my husband was like, oh, boring. And he's a Marvelite, which is why I keep mentioning my husband, because he was like, they're digging up really dead bodies now. And I thought to myself, well, maybe, Angelina Jolie and other, very, very, very well-known actors were coming to the Marvel people and saying, I want to be a superhero. I want to be a superhero. I want to be a superhero. And, Marvel and Disney is like, we should use them. How? And that's how these guys, this, what was it? Immortals, Essentials, something like that, which is a bunch of characters. So now you could give all these actors these positions if you re-upped that. What my husband says is kind of an old thing that wasn't that interesting, even when it was first introduced. Do you disagree? Do you agree? In any case, for me, who's not a Marvelite, it's just too much sensory overload when you have too many characters. So a lot of the Marvelites loved Endgame. And the only thing that saved me in Endgame was that Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy is in it, and he's my favorite character. So as long as he was in it a lot, I was okay. He was like my eye of the hurricane, because there was so much going on that it was very hard for me to even enjoy it, because I just shut down when there's too many characters in one film. I don't like, and it just feels like everything, like the kitchen sink is being thrown at me, and I'm like, meh, bleh, bleh. I love a really good story. I don't think you need spectacle. I think you need a good story. That's my opinion. If you've got a great story, you don't need spectacle. Spectacle should enhance a good story, not the other way around. Just because you can do anything and everything with computer-generated graphics doesn't mean you should. And so when you blend them beautifully together, using a little bit of that and a little bit of CG together, you get things like The Mandalorian, which has excellent stories, and the effects enhance the story. They don't take from the story or overpower the story. So that's my position. So that's one of the challenges that I have with this new Spider-Man, because it looks like everything is being thrown at this movie. And I looked at my husband and said, what was that preview? I don't, what? But like I said to you in the beginning, you do want to not judge it before you go see it. Just go see it, and then if you didn't like it, then you can kind of check mark of what you didn't like right away. If it's a lot of characters all at the same point, I'm already not going to like it as well as if it focused on one or two, like Iron Man did, like Captain America did. I love that original Captain America. I thought it was just such a good movie, and I love seeing that movie. And then there was the one after it where he keeps saying, on your left, on your left, on your left, which is a running term. And I love that. That's something, because I run, walk. races that we have to say out of respect to the other runners, or if a runner is coming up from behind, they say it out of respect for you if you're walking. So it also had a foot into things that I like. So it was an extra joy for me to watch those movies like that. And in Free Guy, there were a couple of things that happened that were callbacks to Marvel that I thought were fabulous. I thought they were absolutely fabulous. And so I'm not adverse to Marvel. I just want it to be a story. Leo says the Spider-Man preview was for critics and they purposely cut short to avoid spoilers. And yeah, but it really looked like a scrapbook. And again, this is what I'm talking about. When you're someone who's trying to do a good trailer to get people to go see it, sometimes your hands are tied. Okay. If you were fortunate enough to live back in 1979, actually 1978, when Alien, the movie with Sigourney Weaver, was released, the preview was fantastic. The preview was simply an egg cracking and a high in space. No one can hear you scream. Cut. We were all there. That made us go. That was it. The trailer only lasted maybe 15 seconds, and we were all in that seat that opening day because that was so compelling and short and simple. And then we weren't disappointed because Alien was a great story. Another one that had a fantastic trailer but didn't have a fantastic story was the American Godzilla movie, where the Godzilla looks a little more like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Ray Harryhausen film. But it was three guys. You may remember this. Can't remember when it came out, but those of you who are totally brilliant, you can tell me when it came out. But it was like the first American Godzilla movie. Toho actually had endorsed it, and then they saw it, and then they took away their endorsement because it wasn't really good, with Matthew Broderick. Okay, so that may help you to know which one I'm talking about. But the preview at the beginning, we absolutely fell in love with because it's three guys on a pier fishing. And the one guy says, I got something. And he's pulling, you all been there if you fish, and he's pulling and he's pulling. And all of a sudden out in the water, you see this bump, which if you're a Godzilla fan, the bump is something you always see. And it's coming towards you and coming towards you. And then he pulls it up and it's the eye of Godzilla and the sound. And then it cuts. We were all like going crazy after that preview. So you don't have to necessarily show everything. It just has to be a good hook and a great story to follow up. And unfortunately, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla turned out to be not such a great story, but the preview was fantastic. So that's what I'm talking about. If you got a good preview, it doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be 5 minutes, doesn't even have to be 60 minutes, just has to be choice. So, and it'll grab you and pull you in, right? It will do that. Yeah. So that's what, that's my statement. My opinion, Disney should only focus on Disney due to Marvel having too many writers and not enough engineers, LOL. Michael, that's a great point. I think that's a really good point, and Disney did used to really create, didn't they? They created, we were talking about this the other day, that Walt Disney, when a lot of people think of Cinderella, they think of Walt Disney's animated version of Cinderella. And that is not where Cinderella came from. Cinderella was a story that was public domain. And, Walt was looking through it and he thought, hey, let me tell my version of Cinderella. Let me tell my version of Snow White. It helped him at a time when he was on his rise to not have to actually do all the work and come up with a brand new story. He just retold a story that he loved, maybe as a young person, or knew his kids liked it or whatever. And then he retold that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but tell it in your way. And I forget what my husband was saying. He was saying that they were thinking of, someone was thinking of doing a story, and I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what the story was, But I said, if it's darker and it's edgier and it's scarier, why not tell it that way? If the book has more creepier, tell it creepy. Tell it like the book is, because we would love to see that. Of course we would. We don't have to have everything be the Disney version, do we? I mean, if you think about A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2, are these two films not brilliant? Scary and brilliant, because not only is it a scary movie, it's a good story. It has a good story. Maybe a light story, but who cares? As long as you got a fun story and you put it all together and you tie it, it's just, I love that. It's like two of my favorite movies, Quiet Place and Quiet Place 2. And then you got Emily in there and you're like, mwah, I'm sorry. I just, it's great. It's great. It's super, super great. Star Wars trailer was my kryptonite. Yes. Star Wars. Well, and let me tell you something about Star Wars. I never got to see the trailer. Okay. My boyfriend, who is my husband, my good friend, who is my husband now, he wasn't even my boyfriend back then. He was my buddy. And, he gave me a book with a McQuarrie illustration on the front of it. And I went home and read it and just went crazy. And then he said, well, it's opening. You want to go see it? And we cut class. Those of you who are young don't cut class to see a movie. Shame. But I wasn't the best student. But we did. And we got into the first show at the Chinese Theater and the room stretched for me. And it absolutely changed my life. So one of my favorite moments in my journey of life is that I've gone full circle. So Star Wars inspired me to be the artist that I am today. And then I did a little bit you might have heard of called Captain EO. And I met George Lucas on the set and was able to sit with him and tell him what his movie Star Wars meant to me and how it had changed my life and put my feet on the path to my art success. Yeah, all about Star Wars. And that's a great opportunity. When a movie moves you, it's really nice to be able to meet the person who wrote it, created, directed it, and the struggles you knew that he went through in order to get it made. And now it's changed everything. It changed everything. Yeah, it did. It changed the world, that movie. And if you want to know how, I'll make the list, but just know that it did. It changed the world. And it was Star Wars was a shocker for most of us in 1977. And because we were looking at love stories, and there wasn't a lot for the sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book enthusiasts. There just wasn't enough on camera, on screen for us to enjoy. TV had a few things, Star Trek with Bill Shatner, and Leonard Nimoy, which we would watch as many times as we could. Space 1999. And then there was a show with women with purple hair that were the aliens that we gobbled up. But we didn't get to have and then there was 2001, which always put you to sleep. It was a very cool movie, but you went, and so when Star Wars came out, it changed the way the world looked at film, fashion, and television, and the rest is history. Marvel has a platform because of Star Wars. So all of these fantasy movies and everything, you would have never been able to do things like Game of Thrones if it hadn't been for the love and excitement over Star Wars. So to be able to tell George Lucas how much that meant to me. And he was a little nervous meeting me because I had seen the original movie the first year 183 times. And I'm in his book, Skywalking, on page 3, and actually in the index. Yeah, TERRI HARDIN sees it crazy amount of times. No VHS, no DVDs, nothing like that. You had to be in the theater or you didn't get to see it. So it's great when you admire someone's work and art and it inspires you to do what you've got to do. And then you get to meet them and tell them from your heart what they did for you. So you want to talk about doing something nice. Don't be too shy to tell somebody who inspired you from a talk or something they said or something they did. George Lucas, in this case, I was able to sit on the steps of the Captain EO set and just tell him how I felt. and I'll never forget it. He looked at me kind of quizzically and kind of confused, but he got it. He got it. So it was cool to be able to do that. Good morning, Terry. Great to see you again. Hello, Leanne. Great to see you. Yay. I'm glad you made it. I love your whale tail. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is my mermaid tail. And the interesting story about this, and I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'll let you guys get on with what you're doing because it's such a beautiful day. But this mermaid tail I designed because I liked Splash. And I was working on Ghostbusters and building the Marshmallow Man with my friend and designer Bill Bryan. And I found out that the guy who made the tail, Bob Short, for Splash was working on not only Ghostbusters, but 2010. We were in the same building. So I made sure I met him and I started to ask him questions about how he made it. And then I went and he told me that, you couldn't do it. It took a team of people to do it. And whenever you tell me I can't, of course I have to try it. That's me. It's like you threw the gauntlet down and I'm like, So I went to where I had built the Dune suits, Don Post Studios. They had an extra little spot and I was able to make the mermaid tail. This is version 2, but the first one I made. And they were making the Little Mermaid, and my friend Philo Barnhart was one of the illustrators and designers of the Little Mermaid, and he put me in a fish tank at Disney Studios, and I swam, and the animators drew me. Have you ever seen a Disney book where you see the animators drawing from the fawns and the does for Bambi? Do you remember that picture? So that's the same thing that the Disney animators did, only I was the little fawn. And I was swimming in this mermaid tail, version 1. And they did sketches of me while I swam in my mermaid tail for the Little Mermaid. What animated areas did they use it for? Who knows? But I swam for about a good 2 hours. And then I surfaced and they watched that and they actually recorded me doing it. And it was great. So this mermaid tail, version 2, I debuted at a Worldcon cosplay. I was a mermaid and I took first place, but she should be actually not functioning anymore. They say that this material lasts about 10 years and this tail is 40 years old. 1980 is when I debuted her. And now she's there just to celebrate her because she deserves it. But when you are in my mermaid tail, you are a 7-foot-long swimming, functioning mermaid. Yep. It's cool. Isn't it cool? Thank you for asking about that. Thank you for saying that, Leanne. I appreciate it. I am a whole team of people. Yeah. I keep praying for that prehensile tail. But it's still not here. Wouldn't it be nice if your prehensile tail comes up and holds stuff for you so you can sculpt on it with both hands? Or you can paint it, yeah. I'd love that. People say I'd like another pair of hands. No. I don't need another pair of hands. I need that prehensile tail. I would just love it. If I wanted to hang Christmas lights, I'd throw that tail up there and hang the Christmas lights. Right. So yeah, I keep praying for a prehensile tail. Don't know if I'll ever get it, but that's what I pray for. If I was going to pray for extra limbs. Yeah. So there you go. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to sign off. We've done a great job today. We only went 40 minutes. And here's what I'm working on doing is keeping them short because I know because of the pandemic and COVID-19 that you guys have just been so eager, as have I, I'm not putting it all on you, to be out in the fresh air doing stuff like going to Knott's Berry Farm, going to Disneyland, or just getting together with friends and family, wearing your mask, social distancing, being safe, and you want to be with people. I don't blame you. I love being with people. So just remember that the vaccine and the boosters mean it guards you against it, but it's not a total 100% effective shield. Okay. So please mask when you're out and about. We have this new Omicron variant, and apparently it's got some really tough claws. So you don't want those claws getting into you. Be sure you do everything you can to be safe when you go to see family and friends and visit, and be good to each other. And this is the holiday month of festive cheer. Whatever you're doing, you're celebrating something fun and festive with decorations or your attitude and your spirit. So please continue to share the good heart, your good heart with everybody. Um, Disney people have such big hearts, and you all have such big hearts who listen to me on the channel. So do something nice for someone else. Look, my heart, yeah. It'll make you feel a whole lot better yourself. And if you're sad, phone a friend, okay? And we're going to help you to feel better. And then consider the Patreon page, because we do our weekly Zoom calls where we just get to chat it up. A lot of times there are times we're just kind of sitting there going, what else can we talk about? But that's cool too, because what I've been told is they just want that presence with each other. They want to have that tether. So it's a really great group, and I hope you consider it. And I hope you have a very happy holiday, and I'll see you Friday. So if you're not part of the tribe, I'll see you Friday. If you are part of the tribe, I'll see you Wednesday, okay? And LOL, hugs, kisses. Y'all have a great day. Thank you, Michelle. And you had a woolly monkey that had a pencil tailor, and Stephen, you were jealous, weren't you? Because I was. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me today. You're all so special, so lovely, and I will see you